Hello, Power Partners, and welcome to our informational playground. This is Starstyle, Be the Star You Are. We're brought to the airwaves under the auspices of Be the Star You Are charity, and I am your host, Cynthia Brian. And I hope that you are doing well and that you had a very good Thanksgiving. The miracle moment for today is brought to you by Be the Star You Are. You can visit the website at bethestarur.org. Every morning, you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. And that leads me into what we'll be talking about today, and that is the meaning of dreams and also some travel sleep hacks. Also, police departments are offering tips on how to protect your valuables and yourself during the holidays, and I'm going to give you some of those tips. And if you travel for work or for pleasure, you probably have had difficulties sleeping on planes or maybe even in new places. I know I do. But there are things you can do to help you get a more restful night. And so we will be discussing that. And when it comes to dreams or maybe even nightmares, do you wonder what your dreams or nightmares mean? Dream science is evolving and there are no conclusive results. However, doctors concur that dreams and nightmares can reveal issues in our lives. So we will dive into that just a little bit. But first of all, I just wanted to give you some few tips from police departments that are telling us how to stay safe now during the holiday season. Because as we recover from Thanksgiving and get fully engaged in the Christmas holiday prep, we are encouraged to take some precautions to ensure that our holiday season is merry, bright, and safe. Now, many people went shopping on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, and those purchases are going to begin to arrive, and thieves are targeting our packages and our mail. So, to prevent thefts, track your deliveries and avoid leaving packages on your porch. Use a locking mailbox to prevent mail theft. Or ask a trusted friend or neighbor to pick up any packages if you are not going to be home. Make sure you don't leave any valuables visible in your vehicles. The vehicle burglaries are on the rise, and burglars look for easy targets. So ensure that you lock your doors, roll up your car windows when parking. If you're in an SUV and you have one of those roller things that can cover anything that you have in the back, make sure to do that. And store your purchases in their trunk if you have a regular car, or at least out of view. And consider moving the vehicle after you put the purchases in your vehicle so that if there was somebody watching, because some of the criminals just watch, that they won't take advantage of whatever it is that you just bought. And holiday traffic can be really difficult because drivers aren't paying attention. So this is a safety measure for you to ensure that everyone is wearing seat belts. Remember to drive defensively, watch out for other drivers. Slow and safe always wins the race. Slow and safe wins the race. So just remember that during the holiday season. Now, if you're going on vacation, you want to stop the mail so you can sign up at your post office and give them the information when you'll be gone. Make sure that your doors and windows at your home are closed and locked, and that if you have an alarm system, you set your alarm. Make sure also to ask a trusted neighbor to keep an eye out, and you can sign up if in your neighborhood there is a vacation house watch program, because that is always really helpful. And if you are driving, the rule is do not drink and drive. During last Christmas, the California Highway Patrol reported over 20 deaths in DUI accidents and arrested 308 drivers just in our area alone. And that doesn't include enforcement actions of all local police departments. So designate a sober driver or use a rideshare service or a taxi, because holiday cheer does not belong behind the wheel. So just remember that. Now, I want to talk about some travel sleep tips and how you can get a better night's sleep when you are gone because when you go on vacation, we really don't have time for insomnia. And just utilizing some easy sleep hacks will help you fall asleep faster. And especially if you're traveling to different time zones. It never used to be hard for me, but I just know that as I get older, as much as I love to travel, I find that the airplanes are crowded, they're uncomfortable. And when I get to a new location, the first couple of nights are usually kind of toss and turn. So these are some things that not only I have found, but experts also find. So if you want to recharge, you know, going on vacation sometimes can be difficult because you stay in a hotel or a vacation rental or even somebody's house. The mattress might be too soft. The AC might run too loud, or it might be too hot, too cold, or maybe there's no AC and it might be too hot, or it might be lights are seeping in through the cracks under the doors. And then maybe when you finally drift off, somebody slams the door, or somebody's, playing loud music, or they're watching TV in a room next door. But there is some good news. You don't have to spend your trips in a state of half sleep. So, here are a few things you can do. So, to block out those blinking lights, and I have done this with my recent travels because staying in a dark room is really good for sleep. But if you're in a hotel, there are a lot of those glowing LEDs. And if you just get a roll of that black electrical tape, just that little small roll, put it in your suitcase and cover any tiny lights on the TVs, the phones, the thermostats, the alarm clocks, and you will be amazed on how much deeper you sleep without those red or blue dots flickering in your face. So pack that black tape with, maybe pack an eye mask too. I like to pack those and I use those on the plane. And also, by the way, when you pull them off, they don't do any damage to anything. The other thing is if you might want to, the pant hangers that are hanging in the closets of many of the hotels where you stay. Sometimes the curtains don't close all the way. And a real good hack is just to take one of those trouser hangers from the closet, turn it sideways, and clip the drapes together, and you will have blackout. I actually bring a couple of binder clips with me because I don't always know where I'm going to be, and that just helps me. The other thing I like to do is because when I've stayed in a hotel, is there's always a light under the door, and I just take a towel, I roll it up, and I put it at the door to block the light. Now, what about noise? Sometimes it's in the hallway, it could be city traffic. That is a top sleep disruptor. I mean, I live in the country, it's really quiet. I just hear crickets at night, which I love hearing. And I have a really hard time when I go to a city or even a friend's house that lives in the city. And I hear buses and sirens and all that noise. So you could get a free track on Spotify, YouTube, or a meditation app, or that would have maybe some white noise or maybe something soft, soft music that might help you. The other thing that really is disturbing to sleep is if the temperature of your room isn't what you're used to. Now, the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, says that most people sleep best in rooms that are between 65 and 68. So set the thermostat before you go to bed, and then if you want to have a little extra white noise, if there's a fan in the room, you can keep that on. I personally like the room even colder. I like it about 62. So that's something to think about. Now, pillows. I know I sound like a little kid, but I actually bring my pillow with me now. I never used to, But I just can't sleep on somebody else's pillow or a hotel pillow. I just find they're just difficult. I'm really picky. I don't like a firm pillow. I like something that is really soft and, I mean, I'd rather sleep without a pillow than to have a pillow that I don't like. So you might think about that too. Mine scrunches up into almost nothing. So that's good. But you could also, if you're staying at a hotel, ask if they have a pillow menu. And if they do, sometimes that'll let you choose between down or memory foam or hypoallergenic fills, and that'll help you sleep better. Something else that's really helpful is I grow lavender and I actually spritz a little bit of a mist on my pillow every night. It helps me fall asleep faster. And actually, research backs this up that this is lavender is very calming. So you could bring a little mister. Remember that if you're going to put it in your carry-on, it can't be more than 3 ounces. But you might want to take something with you. There are also some roll-on things that you could have. Now, if you like something that is a little more, I don't know, kind of more energizing, peppermint is also found to enhance sleep. Pretty much the same as lavender, but it smells more peppy. And when it comes to your sleep routine, one of the most important things is a consistent bedtime routine because that will help you adjust to all the new time zones and it'll help you sleep better on vacation because your body likes consistency. If you go to bed and wake up at your usual time and you keep your bedtime habits the same, like I like to read before I go to bed. So I don't believe in looking at my phone or my screen or my computer. Now, a lot of people do that, but the experts recommend against all that doom scrolling, and they also recommend against screens for like 2 hours before bed because of that blue light. It messes with your circadian rhythm. And when you wake up, you really want to open those drapes and you want to get some morning sunlight within the first hour because that actually resets your internal clock. That will help you fall asleep more easily when you go to bed at night. And that doesn't matter where you are or what time zone you're in. So, sleeping well while traveling, it doesn't require that you stay in a five-star hotel, but just with a few smart tweaks, that black tape, the a hanger or a clip, maybe some aromatherapy, you can get some good sleep whenever you're traveling, no matter where you are. Well, you're listening to Cynthia Brian. This is Star Style. Be the star you are. We'll be back in a bit with a business bite, and then we'll be on to what our dreams will tell us. So don't go away. Stay with me. Do people feel a personal connection to you? Human beings want to feel connected to other people, and work is a logical place to have that need met. I mean, after all, we spend more waking hours at work than in any other activity. Does the working environment allow for and promote the development of strong working relationships? The people who do the work have a valuable perspective. They have ideas, they'd like to share them. So you don't need to implement every idea or accept every solution that's suggested. But if you openly ask for and value those ideas, some will make a difference. And the process of asking will engage people in a powerful way and help you feel more connected. Remember, you're the star of your own production. Turn your passions into profits. I'm Cynthia Brian with another business bite from Starstyle. For more information, visit cynthiabrian.com. That's Brian with an I.com. So we are back, and now we're going to go to dreams and a little bit of nightmares. I'm Cynthia Brian. You're listening to Star Style, Be the Star You Are. And there are some surprising things we can learn from dreams. And a lot of different doctors have talked to us about this. On my radio show in past years, I've had several sleep doctors and authors about sleep on the show. But dreams can be confusing, they can be comforting, and they can be, well, really just bizarre. But they might also be saying more about you than you realize. So while scientists are still unraveling exactly why we dream, there is growing evidence that our nighttime stories are deeply tied to our emotions and also to our sleep quality and most of all to our mental state. So, to help us understand, I'm going to talk about what dreams might be trying to tell us about our subconscious and how our daytime feelings can influence our dream world and why those wild plot twists actually make perfect sense, kind of in a way. So, why do we dream? Dreaming is a normal and a very healthy part of sleep. It happens during REM. That is the stage when the brain is active, even though the body is at rest. And we don't exactly know, why that happens, but research is suggesting that dreams help us process emotions, consolidate memories, and work through experiences from daily life. What this means in a nutshell is that dreaming is your brain's natural way of decluttering and making sense of everything you've absorbed. I know for me, whenever I have a major decision or I'm doing some design work or I'm considering something new, I always have to sleep on it. I tell clients all the time when they ask for advice, let me sleep on it because I feel like I don't know if it's little fairies in the night or if it's just my brain working through all the decisions, but I definitely have better solutions in the morning. So, what can our dreams tell us about our lives? Well, generally, dreams are thought to reflect our unconscious mind. And some dreams can be random or they can just be flashes of memory, but others are believed to offer messages from the subconscious. And that provides an insight into our current mindset, including unresolved trauma. Now, dream science is evolving. The science behind dreams is very active. It's a field with tons of unanswered questions. And while dreams might offer emotional clues, they are not a one size fits all diagnostic tool. That's why you can't tell somebody your dream and then have them completely analyze it. And a lot of dreams just feel unfinished and some feel cut short. I mean, have you ever had a dream that was really good? You really loved it, and you wake up and you try to get back to it and you can't? I'm always frustrated when that happens. But sometimes we're not sleeping long enough. And sometimes our sleep is fragmented. And then our body may not cycle completely into that REM state. And again, that's where dreams occur. And so, if you're not getting enough REM, you might have fewer or less vivid dreams. And if you have poor sleep, what that does is it raises cortisol and emotional reactivity in the brain. And that's when dreams can be more negative, they can be fragmented, or they might be really emotionally charged. So, this is where the nightmares often show up. If you are really stressed or you're overtired, that tends to be when we get nightmares. Now, an occasional nightmare is normal, especially after you've drank alcohol or you've had a heavy meal late at night. It's you know, as much as like the Spaniards love to have those 11 o'clock meals, that's pretty tough on your body unless you're not going to sleep for several hours. If you've had a stressful day, and again, if you've had too much alcohol, that can lead to nightmares. But frequent nightmares that cause anxiety or wake you up repeatedly, they might actually be signaling something deeper. It might be linked to stress, it might be linked to trauma, or you might have a sleeping disorder. And of course, they do happen with PTSD. You have to improve that sleep hygiene and manage stress and create a calming bedtime routine, which can make the real difference, which I talked about in our first segment of how to get the better sleep. Now, what does it mean when you dream about being harmed? I hate those dreams when those happen. Now, scary dreams where you're being chased or attacked, that usually traces back to some kind of stress. It may represent your body's natural stress response, and that would play out during that REM sleep. They're not predicting danger, so don't think that, but they are your brain's way of processing fear or anxiety. So, this might mean you need to reduce your daily stress and improve sleep quality, and that can often help. I know for me, very often I have dreams where I might be chased, but then I start flying and I'll fly high above, I'll hide in a tree. That it's always weird. And I really, really do feel like I'm flying. Have you ever had sleep paralysis? That's where you wake up and you're not able to move. It is really one of the most unsettling sleep experiences. And it's more common, but it's not dangerous. It's more common than you think. Sleep paralysis happens when the brain wakes up before the body transitions out of REM, and your muscles stay temporarily paralyzed. And it actually can come sometimes with hallucinations or even a sense of pressure. It can be triggered by irregular sleep schedules or high stress, but again, it is normally harmless. Now, if your dreams trigger physical reactions, like if you ever think that you might be swimming and then you wake up sweating, or you think that you're running and you wake up with a racing heart, when a dream aligns with a physical sensation, it often means that your brain is weaving real bodily cues into the dream story. I'm sure some of you might have had, I know I have had dreams where you feel like, oh, I really have to get up and go to the bathroom. Well, that means you probably do have to get up and go to the bathroom. It's normal. And these experiences happen often, but they can interrupt your sleep. And if it starts happening too often, then you definitely want to check in with the doctor. Now, how do you remember or interpret your dreams? You can keep a dream journal, and this is what authors on the show have reflected on before. And if you keep a dream journal and you wake up and you write it down right away, it might be beneficial, and especially for emotional insight or if you're kind of going through any kind of therapy. But doctors really do caution against overanalyzing every dream because this, again, remember, dreams are just your way of processing your day. And if you're curious or working through strong emotions, journaling can bring the patterns to light. But there are ways that you might have nightmares because of medications that you're taking. If you're having frequent disturbing dreams, and there's no obvious link to what's happening in your life, check what you might be taking as a prescription or even an over-the-counter medication, because that could be having a negative influence on your sleeping. Like there are certain antidepressants or beta blockers that treat high blood pressure, even statins to treat cholesterol, or psychostimulants for attention deficit hyperactivity. Those all can work against the dopamine, and they all are among medications that have been linked to causing or aggravating distressing dreams. So again, you might want to talk to your doctor about that. Even some antihistamines can cause bad dreams. So there are a lot of medications that might result in nightmares, and even melatonin and medications that are used for short-term insomnia, things like Ambien or Sonata or Lunesta, they are actually associated with more bad dreams. And the experts don't know the mechanisms of those. So other drugs like Ozempic that are used to treat type 2 diabetes or even promote weight loss, they have been linked to disturbing dreams as well. Now, why medications affect dreams isn't really known. The cause isn't clear. But in the case of some drugs like selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors or antidepressants, the medications may change the levels of your neurotransmitters. And that could be the reason. So, research has found that while older antidepressants can induce more positive dream emotions, use of serotonin new ones inhibitors are they're called SNRIs. They're more associated with more intense dreaming and even the possibility of frequent nightmares. So again, talk to a physician. Now, by contrast, dopamine agonists are thought to impact nightmares directly because they work through an activity on your dopamine receptors. And this is from a research sleep specialist and pulmonary physician at UCLA Health. So, other drugs could have impact on your sleep as well. And beta blocker medications tend to reduce your REM sleep, which is when most of your dreaming occurs. So, research has found that beta blockers are associated with an increased rate of nightmares. So, you got to be careful here. Sometimes it's not entirely clear what's triggering those bad dreams. You might even have sleep apnea. And many people who have sleep apnea aren't even aware of it. If you snore a lot or you're gasping for breath, again, speak to your doctor. And when people experience dream related side effects from medications, their responses can really vary. You might have sleep fragmentation, you might get heart palpitations, you might even feel panicked, and you could develop insomnia. So, what you should do if you suspect that a medication is wreaking havoc on your dreams is to discuss those symptoms and concerns with your primary care physicians, because nightmares can significantly impact your sleep and your overall quality of life. And we all want to have happy dreams, not these terrible, fragmented, scary dreams. So, again, always talk to your physician to know what is happening with you. Well, that is our show for today. Make sure you're tuned to Express Yourself Teen Radio on Sundays and Starstyle Be the Star You Are on Wednesdays with me, Cynthia Brian. We really hope that you can improve your life, your lifestyle, and you just daily living with things that we can bring to you. And of course, we want to make your dreams come true, not nightmares, just dreams. For more information about Cynthia Brian, which is me, Star Style Productions, or any of my books, which will make great holiday gifts, visit cynthiabrian.com. The money will go to charity and it goes to Be the Star You Are. You can also order them at bethestaryouare.org, and it is a donation. So again, bethestaryouare.org or Cynthia Brian, Brian with an I.com. My aim is to encourage, inspire, inform, amuse, and motivate. See beyond your physical being. Know you already are the star you dreamed of becoming. Cherish the past, dream of the future, and celebrate every moment of your life. And read a book this week because it's like a garden in your pocket. And until we celebrate next week on the Star Style Playground, remember that love always wins, kindness always prevails, and smiles keep us happy. I am Cynthia Brian for Star Style, thanking you and encouraging you to be kind, be inclusive, tell the truth, live with integrity, embrace cultures, love unconditionally, encourage others, be generous, read, lead, succeed, communicate, collaborate, innovate, and be your unapologetically authentic self, because everyone counts. I do encourage you to go out into the world and be the star you were born to be. And I hope that you're looking forward to a very happy and safe holiday season. And if you are in the tax bracket that you need a last minute donation, to offset your taxes, remember be the staryouare.org, a literacy charity to empower women, families, and youth. Then that also brings you these radio programs. Would really appreciate any donation of any amount. Be the staryouare.org. Again, I thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be together next week right here on Voice America Network. Ciao for now.